welcome to our 75th Gorilla Radio. I'm Joe Caprino. I have very little voice, but I also have Mike Reiser here that he likes to talk, so he's going to take over most of the talking tonight.
I was worried going in that my voice was going to go too, but not too bad.
Yeah, I got a little sick and then decided to yell during the match, and thus I have very little voice. I got a lot better than I was yesterday. The refs were happy. On Saturday, they couldn't hear me yelling at them. I mean, usually I just yell praise, great job, great call, keep it up. And for some odd reason, they weren't. They were happy that they didn't have to hear me. So, but we got the job done, so we didn't need too much of my yelling. So, you were at the Tom Cameron this weekend?
I was at the Tom Cameron Invitational. It was my first year ever going there. We did the live broadcast. We made some spot, which was really cool. I don't know if you guys got to see. They did a couple matches Thursday between Lowell and Hobart, where there was just like one match or a couple highlight matches. And then, so we started a little earlier. We got a couple highlight matches, some ranked guys, just get them out there. And then we did the entire duel of Hobart and Maryville. But we could have probably did the final two rounds because Hobart and Harrison was a really good duel. It came down to the last match. Hobart pulled it out, so Hobart's a really good dual team.
Yeah, definitely. So that's we don't have comments yet. Yeah, that's a real good duel. I mean, Harrison was there also. I think Harrison beat Maryville?
Yeah, Harrison beat Maryville, and then so Harrison was in the same pool. So they do like three. I think you get like three pool matches, and then they cross wherever you end up falling at. So Hobart and Harrison came down to 126, I believe, and Hobart was able to get the fall. They ended up winning, I think, like 130 or 36 to 34, but it was pretty close. It was just, Shammer got a fall. I think he was really cool. I don't know if you have to see they pinned him, but it was a good duel. I mean, we knew some rivalry there with, Joe Hansen on the board.
Oh yeah.
Was talking trash. I told him. I said if he would have lost that one, he would have had to walk home. So,
were there tacos bet on this?
Yeah, the taco bet. And then they had the cross with. So Harrison wrestled Maryville first, and Hobart wrestled Kankakee Valley, and Harrison ended up beating Maryville to start in a good spot. Maryville had some guys out also, but I know that Harrison ended up having a couple guys out also.
Yeah, that's you always have guys in and out of the lineup, especially this time of year, and those types of duels are important, but they're not. I mean, most teams like Maryville and Hobart, they're going to be trying to peak for Team State and Al Smith, over in a couple weeks, and then State Series. So they're going to. I know we'll hold guys out just precautionary measures early on. We'll take. It doesn't mean taking too much of a loss doesn't hurt too much, as long as guys are healthy at the right times. So. Yeah. So, did you end up going over to Calumet New Tech High School, as they always?
No, I didn't, and we were actually done pretty quick. I stayed after and talked for a little bit. Maryville did like a rookie rumble today, and they were getting ready to go set up. So I was just kind of shooting the breeze with those guys afterwards. I mean, Coach Maldonado, Paul, and David, they're such good dudes. So by the time I looked at it, it was a little bit later, so I came home. I mean, I don't even do the coaching, so I don't even know how you guys feel at the end of those tournaments. But like just sitting there even talking, like you just kind of feel exhausted.
Yes, it is. It can be very exhausting after a long day, especially some intense matches, coaching and stuff. So, especially if you're not feeling good.
I did not make it over there. I did watch some of the live updates. Cathedral did a really good job with their Twitter from the Trikoff, so you get to see Cathedral was putting in work. I mean, that's kind of what I figured. Cathedral's really tough.
Yeah, Cathedral's really good. Top to bottom, they don't have they don't have really any holes. So they're hard. They're gonna be hard to beat in a duel unless you can match up with some of their better guys. The one match I kind of saw was Mishawaka got upset by Portage, and I didn't think someone put in the details, but I didn't really look too deeply into that. So that's one of the interesting results. Everything else kind of went to chalk, I'd say. So
yeah, Coach Watkins did a really good job seeding it. I thought when I seen the seats come out, I know there's sometimes we kind of groan like, oh man, but I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I don't think that. I mean, Portage had to open up with some tough duels, and I mean we can get into that too, with Crown Point opening night, and Crown Point went out to Illinois and did really well, and then they opened up with Chesterton, and Crown Point wrestled on Wednesday, and it came down to the wire. So, I mean, really, the difference in the match is 126, an overtime match. If Chesterton wins that, they win the duel.
Yeah, no. So that's that should.
You got to be there live to see it, though.
Yeah, you got to be there live. I know we've gone over to. We did a little bit early Indiana Mat. We did a little bit of live broadcasting there. It was probably really bad, but that's a long day at Calumet. Some great wrestling, but it takes for. I know we'd have practice. Obviously, we gain an hour when we get there, but I'd get there for like the third, fourth, fifth, and rounds. And I'd already driven. Had practice and driven 2.5 hours, and made it there for 2 or 3 of the better matches. So that was always fun to go see. Obviously,
they do a really good job. Obviously, I think it's tough to say it's down, but I mean it's a little bit down. You don't, obviously, in the first couple rounds, you don't want to see as many forfeits. A lot of those guys are coming. I mean, Floyd Central comes from down there in Kentucky. You don't want to come all the way up there and take a couple forfeits. You want to wrestle. You want your guys to get matches in, and I think that's what that's all about, is just getting in there and wrestling the best. And it's a great day of duels. You can get 5 hard matches. I know the guys that are on the main floor are probably getting 5 pretty good matches all day outside that first round.
Yeah. There's a lot of good matches. Always some upsets, and always
Big upset there this weekend, man.
Oh yeah, a couple of them, more than one.
I think Olin Parsons is my first top 5 guy to lose to an unranked guy this year.
Yep. Yeah, and Alderson, he will be ranked. I know we've gotten a message or 2 about him, and he kind of was. I think he thought he graduated. That's why he wasn't in the original rankings, and so those will be out. I think we got your semi-state rankings out last week, right?
Yep.
Okay, good. I thought we did. I wasn't 100% certain. It's been a long week.
Just sick.
Yeah, sick, coaching, all that fun stuff. So,
being a dad.
Yes.
Christmas shopping.
We went Christmas shopping today. We haven't. We don't have a Christmas tree up yet, so everyone probably can boo me now, since we got some new floors in the first floor of our house, so we couldn't really do too much. So that's all.
You guys got to steel pull up a Festivus for the rest of us, or what?
I don't know. We got the kids have little small Christmas trees in their rooms. Like, hey, we'll just throw presents under there. We're good. We don't need to decorate. So we got a week. You put it up for a week, and we'll just put the tree up. I don't know. I'm not. Just call me the Grinch.
my biggest regret about not making it over to Calumet is I didn't get to see Grandma Bailey. I seen she posted today with Logan and Braden. They had their Indiana Mat shirts on.
Oh yeah, yes. So we'll see her at the Al Smith. I'm sure she'll be. We won't be able to. Hard to miss her because she's always yelling, pretty loud. So I saw that picture. So she's hopefully she's still watching. I assume she is. She's an OG fan of the show. So back when it was on Google Hangouts, we've actually upgraded now. So anyway, what other big events were going on last week? If we have like a topic usually about that. So had two great articles this week. If you didn't read them, Tice Freegee, auctioneer extraordinaire. That's always kind of fun to see things like that he's pretty good at auctioneering, which is something that not many people know too much about. And obviously that was a pretty cool article. I'm sure you read it.
Yeah.
There we go. We got comments now.
One comment. Troy Hahn.
Yeah, we got a couple others. I don't know. I had to restart it. So, so we had 2 great articles. I guess we might as well talk about one of the things that kind of got brushed under the rug until late last night, and even even you guys most of the guys in our group text of all the Indiana Mat people. I'm like, did anyone know Jesse Mendez lost? And they're like, what? Like, I don't know. The Crown Point people give them credit for keeping that hush hush. a little bit. Not that they're going to go around bragging that Jesse lost, but
Nah. Um, yeah, like I was at home relaxing, and then you sent that. I was like, no, I did not see that. And then we kind of talked about it for a little bit. And then we went. Obviously, we went to Twitter, and there were some people posting about it. And then, someone had posted it on the board. And then obviously Hector went on there and said this is what happened, which is the classy thing. But I mean, that's when we talked about it, that's what you're looking for. And obviously in our group text, I think it was pretty spot on. I don't know how many guys in Indiana are very close to him.
yeah,
Last year he did really, really well. He kind of dominated everybody, especially the second time he's seen Watts. He really, kind of took it to him. So you have to kind of go out and find that top level competition. So bumping up a weight class and taking an L in Illinois, like I'm sure that's not what he wanted.
no, that's
I'm sure he was looking.
yeah, just so people know, he bumped up and wrestled Nico Bolivar, who was number one ranked 138 pounder. I assume the big class. I don't know what Oak Park is
Yeah.
in.
Oh, yep.
And interesting. I mean, you look at Bolivar's record. Illinois can be kind of deceiving. He's a fifth place finisher. I assume he probably placed at Fargo or something, but he's signed with IU, which is a good thing. So there's a silver lining. He's going to be coming to Indiana to wrestle. So obviously, Coach Escobedo and staff kind of had their eye on that guy. Like know that he's pretty good, darn good, and obviously he beat Jesse, who's top 2 or 3 in every ranking. So that's a good pickup for them. And then obviously it's going to help Jesse. He's going to refocus. He's probably going to go with the Angel Escobedo route. Getting the one loss in Ohio early on in his career and have.
He lost to Illinois kid too.
Yes, he did. Yep, I remember seeing that match. It was one of the few that were ever posted. It was a real good match. It was kind of interesting.
Gomez, right?
Yeah, I want to say like a Joe Gomez or something.
Yeah, Joe Gomez.
But that guy, you're thinking, oh, that guy beat Jesse, or beat Angel, and that guy actually never really went on to do very much, which was kind of it. He's always one of those guys I kept my eye on. I'm like, so how's this guy going to do? He beat one of our legends, and he ended up not doing too much. But that's always, he was real tough back in the day, and that's good for Jesse bumping up to wrestle that guy. He could have taken an easy win probably at 32 because they're going to those tournaments to see the best kids.
I think the forfeit.
Oh, there was a
I think they ended up having a forfeit at 32, and they bumped him. And I kind of got the breakdown of the match. It sounded like it was a really good back and forth match. I think Hector ended up posting it on the board also. Just kind of one of those things. You go up and, like we said, man, like sometimes, and I think Crown Point, I know Brownsburg did it this weekend also. They went out of state and wrestled some really top competition. Crown Point jumped out of the tryoff to go wrestle Oak Park River Forest, which they won. Wrestled DeKalb, which they won, and DeKalb was nationally ranked. I think it's just one of those things when you get those opportunities, we're limited to what we can do right now as a state to go travel restriction. So you have to kind of go and do what you can. And, it was good to see Brownsburg go up and wrestle the Grappler Gold, and they ended up third, and they had some really good matches. And, maybe some of the guys that they have that maybe you're not getting pushed, they might have it's good to see coaches that aren't worried about going into the state finals 40-0. They're going out and looking for good matches.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a kind of an interesting weekend to actually travel because the Ironman was this past weekend. I know there's some talk on the Twitter sphere about, Indiana's travel restrictions and the Ironman, you're thinking, and I was talking to a friend in Ohio, are there any good tournaments that aren't called the Ironman this weekend? And he kind of pointed out a couple, but he said most of the better teams are going to be at Ironman, or at least their better kids are going to be there because they take like partial teams. So it's kind of hard to find. I was kind of surprised, like Oak Park, I'm sure they went to Ironman before. They might not have the powers they do right now to send some guys, but it's good that they were able to find that kind of competition in Illinois on Ironman week. Obviously, Brownsburg going up to Michigan, they have pretty much the same travel restrictions we do. So that was a good weekend for them to go up there. They got third behind Davidson and I'd have to go look it up. But two nationally ranked teams that were just ahead of them from Michigan. Excuse me. Let me pull it up. But it was, where's Brownsburg? There they are.
And obviously, like, Cathedral wanted to do that, bringing LaSalle in, but LaSalle ended up pulling out. Like, that's good that the top teams in the state are looking to go wrestle some of the top teams. I mean, look at what Modern Day is doing. They're down here wrestling all these teams from Kentucky. They got – did someone post that they're putting Christian Brothers coming up from Tennessee?
Maybe. I don't know. Brighton is who beat Davison Brighton, and then Lowell was fourth, and I think Lowell was right ahead of Brownsburg in the Intermat team poll. But one interesting thing on the grappler, I was looking through you can see the breakdown of the points by, guys. I was looking at Dorian Keys. He had 0 advancement points, but he ended up winning. He got his placement points and everything, but he was in a round robin, so he didn't get advancement points. So it kind of hurt them a little bit, and that they didn't get they didn't have their guys. He didn't get the advancement, 5 or 6 advancement points that you would get in a normal bracket, which was interesting. So it wouldn't have changed their placement, but it was just very interesting to see how they kind of did that. And they don't do forfeits in brackets like they do in Indiana. They just call them buys. So if there's 12 actual entries at a weight, there's 12 entries. There's no forfeits. So that's interesting. That's Michigan. They do things weird.
Just answering one of the questions on here. For guys like the top level guys, I think there's guys every year. Angel Escobedo wasn't even. I don't know if anyone was even really close to him outside of that Joe Gomez match. You want to get your top guys good matches, and then I think the guys in those rooms benefit from being in that type of situation too. Look at a guy like Sam Going, who probably, I know he's not in the national rankings, but went out there and pinned a nationally ranked wrestler. I think you have to look more than state exposure. And I think that's what the concern is, that with the travel restriction, is that you're not getting national exposure. Outside of summer stuff, like the guys that are going to, look how much coverage Ironman got.
Yeah.
If you're not getting that, Ironman, every media outlet was there. The main national guys were all there.
Yeah.
A guy has a good tournament there. I'm sure coaches are looking at that the same as they're looking more than our state finals.
Oh yeah, I saw a list of some of the coaches there, and it was a who's who of the D1 coaches and their assistants. So and actually D1 actually kind of was a little slower weekend, which probably played a little bit of a reason, because of they're like, well, I'm not going to schedule something because we're going to be sending a coach or two over there to Ohio, so we don't want to, have duels and our events this weekend. So that's I know we got a question. How does it help? It's the national exposure. Number one is national exposure. Also, kind of puts teams in a bind when they. I just remember one of the best examples is early on when I was in college, and Modern Day went over to Columbus, Ohio. It was the day before national duels, and they wrestled, I think, St. Clair's Graham. They might have wrestled St. Ed's. They wrestled some pretty good teams, but there was a West Virginia team there that they couldn't wrestle because they were outside of the area. But it's if they're going to meet us in the middle, why not? If Brandon, Florida wants to fly up here and wrestle Perry Meridian at Perry Meridian, why is that a bad thing? If they, I don't mind the 300-mile restriction. That's fine. I'm not gonna. That's here nor there. But and one of the other things, I always see this argument, especially on the football board. They always say, look at the band, look at the choir, look at the FFA or whatever, any other school club. If they want to, they can go to, play anywhere, as long as they get school board approval. And it really, I kind of agree, it should be a local, which means that school, that principal, that superintendent saying, hey, no, you guys can't go to California to the Doc Buchanan tournament because that's too far. You're going to take a week off of school. So, seating.
I don't know. I maybe, I feel like we don't use common sense as seating, and this is one of my hot button things. Is coaches want to win a seating meetings. What does that get you? Maybe one step further, or don't you if you're going out, these guys don't care about seating.
Yeah.
If they come in and say, hey, dude, I'm not even trying to trash anybody. I'll say Lowell, because I know I like the Lowell coach and he agrees. So if if the little coach comes in and says, "Hey, my 132 is undefeated, your 132 has lost," are you gonna seat him ahead of Jesse Mendez? You know,
Yeah.
well, my guy's undefeated. Like, okay, then we'll take the two. You know, like, I just think that like you sit at these CD, and I only get to sit in like limited CD meetings, but like, you know, like we had a guy one time say, "Well, my kid was fifth at the sectional, like he should be ahead of a freshman." Like, why? Like, why? Like, how many kids are in your weight? Like, how many? And obviously, everyone's competing, but like seating wise, like, I just think that like we should know as a wrestling community, we have so much information ahead of us. Like, you could literally go into track, click it, and it'll seat it out for you.
Yeah, and honestly, when we're going into even a sectional seating meeting, I know we see a lot of our team. Most of the teams in our sectional see each other. It's just depends on the sectional and the area. Obviously, down south, it's a little bit harder to see everybody, but we see enough of each other and enough common opponents that rarely does it really get down to a one or two losses going out of if we'd go out of state or we go down to. I mean, we go down to Westfield, we go to Al Smith. Our kids take some losses, and we'll have
Yeah.
kids with 5 or 6 or sometimes 10 losses going into state. I know a couple years ago, Joe Just had like 15 losses. I don't know, something like that. 13 of them were like state
Last year.
qualifiers. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like,
last year you guys had 10 losses.
yeah,
Scott,
oh yeah, oh Scotty, he's trying to get that. He's trying to get 10 losses now this year. I don't know if it must be.
and I don't mean that as like a disrespectful thing to the coaches that feel like they're winning CD meetings, but I think we just got to go in and realize like it's not like the old days where like no one's seen anybody. A lot of these guys know each other. We know the community. Like, there's no point in that. Like, you know who's good and who's not good.
Yeah.
You know, the year Drew Hughes was at the Al Smith, he was like a 6 seed.
No, he was an
Like a
8.
6 or 7.
He was 8 his freshman year.
8 seed, and like he had already beat guys, and like that doesn't matter. Summer results, no, that kind of does matter.
Yeah.
I think those are not like throwaway results. Like, I think that you just have to. I just think it's crazy.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, taking a couple losses here or there really don't matter too much, especially when it's a top guy. When you're thinking of a state level guy, and that's what we're kind of talking, and they might get knocked down a seed. Rarely will I'm saying this as a Carroll sectional because I don't know. I'm not in the other sectional seeding meetings. Rarely will that guy get knocked down more than 1 seed, and it might go from a 1 to a 2. But most of the time, the other guys are going to be where they need to be, and it'll work out in the end. It's just one of those things. As that's toughening your schedule up. That's going to Al Smith. I mean, you do the same thing if you go to the Al Smith or you go to, the better tournaments, or you go to, obviously we see Holden Parsons already has 2 losses. There's chances that, they're going to go to the Al Smith. They're going to Team State. He might have 4 or 5 losses going into the state series, and there might be I don't know what sectional they're in, but there might be a heavyweight there that might have 1 loss. Are they going to seed him over that? There is a little bit of a criteria that goes down there. Parsons should probably still get the 1 seed, but at the same time, if they're not going to complain and go out getting a 2 seed because they know he's the better guy, coming down because he's wrestled 10 of the top 16 guys, and beaten most of them, that type of thing. So, you got to, seeding wise, I know we look at it as, I don't mind my kids coming in with 5 or 6 losses, 10 losses, 15 losses, whatever it is, because I know they're going to be battle tested and they'll make their way through the bracket. So,
Listen, what is Jordy? Jordy Folks is ranked number 10. He's like one of the only guys out of state credentials. He's ahead of state qualifiers. Jordy Folks is good. He had a really good summer too. Jordan Folks, he's the number 10 guy at 152.
Man, we got
the only 3 guys that have in the state ahead of him are Bryce Coleman, Tyler Turley. And Tyler Turley looked really good this weekend.
Well, Jay Flo's getting on there. Basically asking, shouldn't that be done in the off season? It can be done both. It doesn't. The bad thing is for someone like we a few years ago when we had a Indiana Mac cover shoot, and we were talking to. We had Michich, we had Jalen Robinson, and Cody LeCount, and LeCount's dad was there, and I'm just talking. I'm like, how much do you think you've spent on traveling, coaching, and all, throughout the years? He's like, I don't even want to think about it, And that's I would I mean you look at kind of where Jesse went this past year. He went to Worlds. He went to Pan Am's. He went to um, cadets. He went to, I mean, all the places he went who's number one. Obviously, some of that stuff supplemented by the people that are putting it on. But I mean, he almost has to do that to get the exposure and boost his rate. Oh, you want Super 32? You want to? I mean, I would hate to see Hector's pocketbook, and here he comes to be able to travel there, and then it should be. I mean, if the school can afford it, the school wants to do it. I don't see a reason why they can't. And it's just like the band. If the band can afford to go to New York City to play in a parade or whatever, or go to Disney World or whatever, do it. It's great for the kids. I'd love to. I mean, we take our team to Disney for wrestling every year. Us and like 85 other Indiana schools. And it's a great experience.
The real Indiana National Championship.
Yes, it is. And that's one of those things that and we've even talked about. We kind of loosely pulled some of the kids. Like, have you ever been to Disney? Like Magic Kingdom, and most of them haven't. And it's like, oh man, we should maybe take them because we're actually at Disney, where we see them go through the park. I just don't want to have to keep track of them for a day at Disney. So
you're making that Menards money. That's why. That big yeah, I mean, I guess the thing that I also feel about the travel restriction is we live in like a good spot, man. Indiana's like right in the middle of all these like good tournaments. Like, no one's like trying to say, hey, let's go wrestle in Florida. Let's go wrestle. Not even that Texas is good. Let's go wrestle the Dallas Super Duel. It's like, we want to go to Ohio. We want to go to Illinois. We want to go, to Pennsylvania, which isn't terribly far.
Well, I feel bad for what was it? That was Brecksville a couple years ago when they added Brownsburg and Avon, and that they had to kick out teams to make sure that, and I think there was a couple good Michigan teams in there also. They had to kick out teams to make it so that those Indiana teams could come. And if they're going to meet us in the middle, I don't care where they come from. I mean, I don't mind the 300-mile thing. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we go 300 miles from any of our borders. You get into Alabama, you get a pretty far distance because it's from any border. So literally, modern day can drive 300 miles north of up here. So they can drive it could be like 10 hours for them, probably more. So. And
I think that's like the part that hurts is just the obviously the teams that are competing in those tournaments. We live in a good area where, I mean, especially right here in Northwest Indiana, you're right next to Chicago. They're gonna have some good things going.
Yeah, definitely. And heck, you can. I mean. It just, I think it'd be better for the teams, and I think one of the arguments IHSA had was it's going to be the richer schools that are doing it, and in all honesty, it's going to affect very, very little teams. Yeah. It's going to affect more or less the individual sports, wrestling, track, cross country, tennis maybe, that can go to bigger invitational type events and not worry about, oh wait, there's a team from, I can't imagine, what do they do for like cross country? Like, oh, you're running against them? Well, they're just running beside me. We just won't count their scores. I don't know what they do, but they could go over to Ohio, they could go to Kentucky and run, and they wouldn't have to worry about a team from Georgia or whatever. So it's
And I know that we've lost Northwest Indiana in general has lost a good amount of wrestlers, that want to go to Mount Carmel or some of the Chicago schools that are able to compete differently. I don't think it's obviously there's good education there too, but like you talk to some of those guys and they're like, yeah, the travel restriction sucks. We want to go wrestle Ironman. We want there was probably 6 Indiana kids wrestling Ironman for Mount Carmel this weekend.
Yeah, and then you had Manzona Bryant, you had Cernus and Donahue.
Yeah.
He's Mikos Luce. I mean, Floyd Central traveled, from one border to the other. I mean, from basically diagonally through the state. I'm sure. I don't know if Sisson watches, but I'm sure he could tell us it was probably about 5-hour drives. 5-hour drive. I mean, modern day comes up to Fort Wayne, and all those teams for Team State. I mean, that's a 4-hour drive, 4 or 5-hour drive on a bus.
Yeah. Me and Sisson were kicking it last year. He's a good dude. I like that guy.
Yeah. Yes, he is. So, I guess we're off that topic now. We went on our rant, our anti-travel rule rant. And I know as it was on it was on the docket to be voted on last spring, and it was tabled, which means they're going to discuss it more. And they might the rule that they proposed change was just no restrictions, and it sounds like they might come back maybe with a little bit more of a keep the 300-mile radius and make it that you can play any team that comes within that area. If they come within our zone, we can play them, and it'd be good for. I mean, I know there's some good football tournaments like days in like Cincinnati, and they bring in like Florida teams and Texas teams. Why can't Warren Center or Cathedral or whoever go over to Cincinnati to play a Florida team? I mean,
Carmel, man. Carmel was a champ this year.
Yeah, all Carmel.
We got grease some palms. Is that what it is? We got to get some of these high rollers to start greasing some palms out here.
Oh yeah. So
that's not how you guys do it in Indy. That's how we do it in Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago love there. So, anyway, we will. Any other events? Oh, we had the ACAC duels this past weekend, and Bluffton won it for the first time in a long time. Just so we
think since the Ben Sprunger, Randy Persley days, or what?
Actually, they tied. I believe they tied with us when I was at Garrett. It would have been 2008, I believe. 2008, yes. And I just remember that year because we had no seniors, but we beat them. So, Roncalli duels. Roncalli looked pretty solid. Just looking through last week's events. Trikoff we've already talked to about. The Kenny Kearns invite, not the Kenny Kern from Jimtown.
That's what I thought it was, man. I said, you got a lot of love for Kenny Kern down there.
Yes, the Kenny Kern Memorial. The Western invite, that's an interesting invite just because it's a little bit more in my area, but it ended up in a tie. And the team that won, I don't know which, I think it was Oak Hill, maybe if I'm right. Yep, Oak Hill won because there was a penalty point taken away from Western. So Western and Oak Hill tied. So.
Yeah, Western. I mean, obviously Oak Hill does a good job. We've known that for the smaller schools. Then Western, I seen someone post that too, right? Someone posted in the notable wins. One of my favorite posts, just as a side note, notable wins and losses on the forum. Because I get to go in there, and it's like a real quick just run through of, where some big matches were.
Yeah.
But Eastern was there. I think Eastern has some, good individuals. Wasn't Rensselaer there also?
Yes, I believe so. I set it up. No, they were not. It was Eastern, Marion, Tipton, Southwood, Eastbrook. A lot of central, northern, not quite Marion, Kokomo area teams per regional. So yeah, that was very interesting. I mean, it's something I keep an eye on, obviously, because we'll see a lot of those teams. Oak Hill, they're 1A, correct? I believe they are for 1A.
They're 2A, right?
They're always right. Oh, they are 2A. So 2A is going to be very interesting because you're going to have Oak Hill and Western there, along with some other Belmont, Garrett, Columbia City. So that's going to be very interesting.
It is good.
2A is going to be fun. When we get to talking about Team State, that's going to be a fun one to talk about.
Was that we're going to talk about that in 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
Yes, we are. Not sure yet.
I was on it, man.
Yep, not sure how we're going to do that yet. We are going to be talking with the WZBD people to try to figure out exactly how we can simulcast it to the Twitter. Obviously, if you guys notice, I am coming to you from Jay County. That is the Patriot that we always joke about. He is scary. Word on the street is that the night before the ECIC, which is the East Central Indiana Classic, he comes alive and he shadow wrestles on the mat. That's a rumor from Eric Myers. So I would never be in that gym at night because that thing is scary.
Do you think a student did that?
I don't know. That thing is large. That thing is like 15, 20 feet tall, if you can't tell from the picture. So that thing is big and it is scary, and it's something that that always looks like it's gonna come alive. So, anything else last week that comes up?
The Chesterton Crown Point duel Wednesday was pretty good.
Yes,
I did not go. Thanks to Derek Dombrowski for live streaming it, even though there was supposed to be no live coverage.
Oh man,
I was getting ready to walk out the door too, man. They called me and told me they wouldn't let us do the live. So
that's always fun. Kind of shout out to people that don't want to promote the sport. Always hate that. It's it doesn't hurt your team to have. Trust me, we can get video on anyone we want. There's this thing called Indiana Matt. There's Twitter. I can send a message if I want tape on pretty much anyone. You can. There's enough connections throughout the state that you can call and say, "Hey, I'll trade you for this," and you're gonna get video on your wrestlers. Having it I mean, look at college. Everyone has Flow accounts, and all their videos are on Flow. Heck, you want to go watch Crown Point, kids, go to the Super 32 or the IPO matches. You can see all those.
Well, it wasn't Crown Point though.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, as a example, you can go find lots of. Heck, you go to the IPO matches. I know a lot of people purchase a IPO video stream about the week of semi-state. The subscriptions kind of rise. It's kind of interesting to see how the subscriptions rise, because there's a lot of guys that are in that at that level that people are trying to find video on. So,
and I know we've talked about it before. Like, obviously there's revenue that they want to get, gate revenue or whatever. Who knows? Wrestling's. I mean, they had a good crowd on hand. I don't think it's due to. They didn't even tell us till I think I was getting ready to leave the house at like 4:45 that we couldn't go live. So from the moment of 4:45 to 6:30, people were like, "Oh man, you know what? If it's not going to be there, I'm going to drive there." Doubtful.
No, where the difference of people that are going to go and not go is minimal, and that's arguable. That there's not hundreds of people that are going to say, "Oh well, it's across the street. I'm not going to go. I'll just sit here and watch it." And I mean, you look at the football. All the football games are broadcast. On there, I know there's a Summit City Sports that's kind of similar to what's over in Northwest Indiana. They do all the football games. I watch the Carroll football games, on Friday nights instead of going. But
there was like me and Nick had talked about doing 1 year we were gonna do Brownsburg Avon. Mm-hmm. He said, "Well, our student section is gonna do it." Great. And I know Derek's all about promotion. Like, he loves, and that's like his big thing. Like, grow the sport, make it an event.
Yeah.
And I think that's like one of the things is like, get it out there. They're getting tons of views. Like, I think that, you want that, or make it a cool thing, like Portage with the, spotlight and the DJ, or, last year they had, Crown Point had a DJ. I think it's awesome, That was like the big thing they said for like Penn and Mishawaka when Derek was there. Now Brownsburg Avon, they're gonna have DJs, they're gonna have smoke machines. Like, make it like a cool thing,
Yeah, don't just make it.
Feel like,
don't just make it a normal thing.
Yeah, and I'm whatever, man. I don't know. Like, I'm not talking to those guys that didn't call me personally and say, "Hey, man, sorry, we want this," and that's cool too. But I just feel like I want everyone to be promoted. Like, we do these. These are free. Like, we don't even. I went to Flow the other day, and I guess it signed out my account. You can't even look at Flow rankings without signing in.
Yeah.
And I think that Regent Sports makes some advertising money to get their guys paid. I think that's what their cameramen do and things like that. But for me, I'm going there just because I like to do it. Yeah. I mean, I like to do this. If we were like, hey, we weren't gonna do this, I'd find me and Nick did some last year. I thought about driving out to Fort Wayne and to Decatur and kicking it with Dane on one of his. I just feel like it's a different thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's promotion of the sport. It gets kids interested. You're not a fuddy duddy, and I don't know. I think more or less it's the old school mentality of, oh, I don't want anyone to know our results, so I'm not gonna put in our details of our duel because someone might know our lineup. Oh my goodness. I mean, if you can't wrestle a team straight up and just say, hey, let's see who their team is, and your team depends on keeping your lineup a secret, you're not that good anyway. I'm baffled by that kind of mentality.
The unfortunate is they are that good too.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
You know, like, I heard IU was in the house. Josh Calventi, I think, from Crown Point, does an amazing job. I think he posted all the videos. Like, got home, he had all the matches already,
Yeah.
except for Dinger. Sorry, Dinger. Dinger was the only one that didn't get his match done because Josh got there late. And the state had an opportunity. If you go look at his or the Bulldog Premier Wrestling Club's page, you can watch a great match at 126, which ended up deciding the whole match with Roberson and Torres. A tough freshman and a state medalist. I seen the Stranger Things entrance video. Jason Cook, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Hobart does a good job, man. They've had some really good intro videos. I'm excited about Crown Point Hobart in a couple weeks.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, Hobart does a very good job of. I get tagged in all those. I want to retweet most of that, but I don't want to show too much favoritism towards the region or the South will rise again and destroy me. So.
Well,
but that's
obviously,
great stuff for promotion of your sport, promotion of your team, your kids. I'm sure the kids love it. I'm sure the kids in the school, every school now has like a student section that has a Twitter, and they all get excited and wear goofy things to basketball and football games. So why not do it for wrestling?
Like, how awesome was it last year when we had the Perry Meridian and Mater Dei?
Yeah.
And how many people watched that?
There were quite a few.
How much money did you make off that? How much money did Indiana Matt pull in off that?
Zero.
Zero.
Yeah.
And I think people are like, well, they're killing it. Like, we've had those comments before. Like, you guys are like all about the money. Like, what money?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's I just this is turning into rant. We're going to title this episode "Rants on." Right.
Well, what really grinds my gears? But no,
Big giant Patriots.
Yeah, giant Patriots, buddy duddies. No, I never said that before. That's weird. I don't like it. No, obviously, Twitter's a great tool. The social media is a great tool. Those guys, Coach Cook and them had a great day at the Tom Cameron. I'm sure they're gonna have some awesome video to post. I was happy that we were able to go live for the guys that couldn't be there. There's family. Lena Triana. Trevor didn't even wrestle. She's like, oh man, you guys are gonna do. I thought you guys would be at Trikoff. I'm gonna tell my mom that you guys are here so she can watch. Mm-hmm. Awesome, right?
Yeah, no, and I know, like the Al Smiths always broadcast. They were one of the first ones to kind of start broadcasting a lot of stuff live, and I remember them doing that, and I remember not being able to make it, sitting there and watching, sitting there that you're watching wrestling. So it's one of those things. Do it. Your kids aren't going to be scouted any more or any less than they already are. And if your kid is that reliant on keeping all his moves secret, then he's going to get scouted sooner or later. He might get through sectional, but video gets out. With Huddle and everything, it's 3 clicks and your opponent has your video. And it doesn't take much to get video out of guys, and especially with everything that's on Flow or Track or whatever. So
yeah, and there's probably a big part of people that aren't even watching video. It's still like right here on my forehead. There's still a bunch of people that are like, oh, what's Indiana Matt? What's that gorilla shirt you're always wearing?
Yeah,
it's just a website. It's pretty cool.
Just a website. So back on actually what's going on this week. As Troy Hahn did say, the last Elkhart Memorial versus Elkhart Central match, that probably isn't going to be as exciting as it could be. I know both teams are a little bit down. That's kind of an interesting match just because they're going to be combining. They're not combining schools, from what I heard. Next year they're just combining sports teams, and then the year after is they're combined. The schools all combined, which is going to be very interesting. Oh wait, I have wrestling practice over at this school. Oh, I have football practice over at this school. That's going to be very. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that as a parent or coach or anyone involved in that. You have my whole sympathy there.
No, that's probably not fun.
No.
I mean, it's tough enough to get kids to wrestling practice, from what I hear
Yes.
from friends that coach.
Yeah. Now you got to add in they have to drive or take the bus over to the other school, which I don't think they're that far apart, but far enough apart that it's going to be.
A lot of
It's going to be a
schools
hindrance.
closing, right?
What did you say?
So a lot of schools closing.
Yep. Let's see. We have.
You don't want to rant on that one? We're just going to gloss right over it.
No.
Let's talk about the Department of Education.
Yes, I'm trying to look up some good duels coming up this week. We were very, very prepared again.
Maryville and Chesterton.
Bloomington
Which
South,
we-
Floyd
okay.
Central might be a good one. I know Floyd has some good kids. Bloomington South has some good kids. I don't know if they're going to match up any. All-Star. It might be some All-Stock Cade Meyer action.
Yeah. All-Star 5-0 at the Trikoff.
Yeah. Wabash Oak Hill should be a good match. Wabash was third at the Western Invite, so they're right behind there.
Yeah, I seen someone ask with notable matches. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some rematches of the championship over there.
Yeah, that was a. Let's see. East Central goes to Ryle, Kentucky. That's interesting. Oh yeah, Mishawaka and Penn, the old backyard.
Mishawaka Penn.
Yes, that should be that. That's always a not very much love lost there. So
It's at Penn this year.
Yeah.
I was gonna try to make it out there and do a little broadcasting from there, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to.
Yeah.
Trying to expand my reach. Right now I'm in North Indiana, but now I want to go out to South Bend too.
Yeah.
Sandiford got me on the table.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we're not at Saturday yet, man. We're still in the weekly duels.
Come on, slow down. Yeah, Center Grove at Carmel. Obviously, Center Grove doesn't have Lytel, but they have pretty. They're going to be well coached. That's going to be a good little match. And I know Coach Swain used to coach with Coach Pendowski at the original CIA, so I know they know each other pretty well. So that should be interesting. Man, there's a lot of matches going on this week. You got Carroll at Garrett, the old Carroll sectional rivalry. So
The old Joe Caprino Classic.
Oh, yes. So that should be a good one, I think. I hope. I kind of don't hope it's a good one. I hope we beat him really bad, but I know that's not going to happen. So Nick's going to probably comment here in a second. That should be a good match. I mean, that's Garrett's one of the top 2A teams, and that's going to be a good gauge of how they're going to do. Actually, they're going to have a pretty good gauge. They're going to have us, and then they'll have Belmont and then Jay County this week at the Carroll Super Duel, so we get to see them. We won't actually wrestle them at the Super Duel, but Garrett will have some good matches this week. A lot of team state implications for them. Kind of seeing where they're going to land. Columbia City Norwell should be a good duel. and Northeast 8, I think they're basically going to be battling for second, from what I can tell. Avon at Zionsville should be a good one. Mishawaka Penn, Maryville Chesterton. Yeah, there's a lot of everyone's having finals this week too, so that's always going to be a good.
Is it Crown Point and Lake Central this week, or is it Portage and Lake Central this week?
I just skipped over Crown Point and Lake Central.
That should be a good one. I mean, I don't know if it'll be good. Crown Point's be really good, but should be a good test for Lake Central. I didn't see how they did in Illinois. They were in Illinois this weekend also.
Yeah, Bloomington South at Columbus East. Bloomington South. Both those teams always have solid guys up and down the lineup. That should probably be a really good duel. Man, there's a lot of duels. I should have probably highlighted some the better ones. That looks like about it there as far as the top duels there. Columbia City, Adams Central, 2A and 1A, pretty good teams there. There. Now we'll go to the other duels. Any other comments of matches you've seen there?
This from matches I watched or matches?
No,
duels
from
I
the
see?
ones that are coming up this week, the duels.
I mean, all those are. I mean, like we always say, like it's always good to see those like good matches where guys can bump and get some good matchups. But you're starting in the heat of stuff. You're gonna get guys that are gonna be wrestling. I'm sure there'll be some good ones. To be interesting to see if Bates is at 95 because I think Walton's been wrestled up at 95. So Bates might have either Chris Walton, who looked pretty amazing. Anyone that's at the Tom Cameron, like that kid has to be so strong. It's unbelievable. Like
Yeah.
he just makes dudes look like they're not wrestling very hard. And there was a couple scary moments where he's slamming some guys. I mean, you guys had a guy get slammed by him one time, right?
By by
Chris
Walton.
Walton.
Yep. Yes. Like the freshman
And
year.
then Jason Streck's been wrestling 220, so could be a good matchup right there with Bates and either Streck or Walton.
Yeah, that should be a good one. Let's see. You got a lot of county tournaments this weekend. The Putnam County, Clinton County, counties are. I'm not sure I could point them out on a map.
I think Putnam County is like Terre Haute, right?
I believe so. Yes. New Haven Super 10. That's gonna be down a little bit this year. The Henry Wilk Classic, Snyder, Zionsville, Penn, Wabash, Springsboro, Ohio usually has a pretty good team. Mishawaka, Huntington North should be some good teams there. Let's see. I'm getting lots of text here. I guess Hobart Super Duels, Chesterton, Hobart, Lake Central, Valpo, Whiting, Gavitt, and Highland. So that should be pretty solid.
And Knox.
Yes. And,
You
you got old Danny Bradley. Bass Lake there represented. Will Hobart and Chesterton wrestle, I assume, there, or is that a...
Oh, I think they will. They're not a conference duel.
Okay. But
We have Coach Cook right in here. Coach Cook, what time are you guys going to wrestle?
Yeah, that should be a good one. And then the Washington, Illinois quad. I don't know who's there, even though that's in my in the list here.
Is Carmel there?
I don't know why, other than Legan put it in, which is Portage, Kyle Keith. But it has Christian Brothers Missouri and Washington, Illinois. That's the only teams listed there.
So maybe
I don't know if Portage was supposed to go there or that's kind of interesting. Let's check out Revision. See what we got. That's interesting. Maybe he forgot to put Portage in there. That's why Portage is missing a match.
Portage wrestled a lot better this weekend at the Trekoff.
Yes, they did.
I have a lot of faith in their coaching staff. I think they're going to be all right. Hobart Chesterton round 5 at the Hobart Super Duel. So that'll be a good duel.
Yeah.
Like I said, we were able to see Hobart. I think they had some guys banged up too, so I don't think they're at full strength yet.
Yeah. So that should be good. I don't know. I assume. Oh, Portage is there because there's two.
Portage is going to Washington. Phil Conrad.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, there's two.
That
of
is
those.
not an easy day of duels.
No. There's two of those events in there. That's why. So I'll just take one out. We got a lot of invitationals coming up here. The Jeff Classic. Always have great T-shirts there. The Danny Struck Memorial. I guess you can't call it a
It's the
memorial.
Campion Memorial. He's still alive.
Yeah. Okay. Danny. That's always a good down south event. Kind of. I know. Dustin is always looking at that as some good because it kind of brings in a good amount of teams from down south. You got Jennings County, Madison, Mooresville's there. You got Seymour.
Isn't it like 16 teams?
Yeah. Seymour. Obviously Jeffersonville, Heritage Hills. Just a lot of teams that are going to bring in some decent guys there. And then the one that we probably want to talk about the most is the Carnahan. They expanded a little bit this year. Crown Point would be obviously Crown Point's going to be there. They're hosting it. They should probably attend. Kind of better thing to do. Brownsburg there. Wheeler will have a couple good kids. Marion has a few good kids. Hebron, North Judson, San Marie, River Forest, the Ingots, Attica. Attica has a
Jeff
pretty
Bailey there. That'd be good. You
yeah.
get Jeff Bailey and see him going.
Yep.
Attica, the Fighting Jordan Douglases. It could
Yes.
be good.
You got Benton Central, Boone
Victor's
Grove, Morton, Hanover Central. So it's a pretty good. Like even though the non-Brownsburg or Crown Point teams are going to bring in 2 or 3 at least,
and
if
I
not
believe
more.
Fairhaven Baptist is there.
They are there. Oh yes, yes. we can.
Hey, don't sleep on Fairhaven Baptist.
Yeah, I need to add them to the list then. You know, that should be a good one. They definitely it used to be kind of a a little bit lesser, but they kind of went out and I'll add Fairhaven there.
I think what's even is even cooler is that I think they want to even make it tougher. Like this is like the first year they're bringing in some new teams, some new blood, and then I think like the plan going forward is to make it a really tough tournament.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's good. It used to be kind of Crown Point versus the world type of thing, especially when when they had their state championship level teams. Even when they didn't, it was Crown Point versus they'd have 10 or 11 guys in the finals. So it's going to be. You're almost going to get your Crown Point versus Brownsburg duel. You're going to see. Obviously there's going to be a good one at 106. Actually, pretty much.
Oh yeah, because you'll have Jeff Bailey, Sam Goyne, and Logan Miller. Jason Miller coming back to the region.
Back to his old stomping grounds.
He gave me a list of restaurants that I didn't recognize last time when we were talking about region food.
Oh goodness. So yeah. So hopefully the proper authorities have been notified of his return to the region. So that should be.
I think. Obviously, even at like 120, you could have Riley Bedich and Giovanni Diaz, a rematch of last year, which was a good match when Diaz had moved up a weight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of good matches, and then some of the smaller schools that are going to be there that are getting that opportunity. I heard talk that Jordan Douglas might be at 45. Maybe you have a Victor Spikes, Orlando Cruz, Jordan Douglas at 145, along with Nick Cicerelli or Griffin Eisen.
Yeah, no, that should be. Attica brings in a pretty solid team. They have some guys that are ranked pretty high, and I don't know if those are the right.
Avery Miller.
Yeah.
106 could be really good. Avery Miller's there too. He's a semi-state kid.
Yeah. So that's probably going to be one of the bigger ones this weekend. The Indianapolis City Championships, which is Cathedral versus the rest of the city.
It's kind of like how many can Cathedral get in there,
Yeah, they usually average about 13 champs. So the over/under is 12.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I always feel like there's always that one city kid that surprised. I'm like, oh man, let's put this guy on the watch list.
Yeah.
He just knocked off whoever,
You got the Madison County, Bridges of Madison County Championships. Alexandria, Anderson, Elwood, Frankton, LaPel, Madison Grant, and Pendleton Heights. The McKean Memorial at Rochester. That's always a pretty solid small school one. You got Rochester's there, Manchester, Calumet's there. There's some other small schools, but they always bring in some solid kids. The Marion
What's the name of that one?
The McKee Memorial.
McKee, yeah.
It's I believe Lafayette Jeff might be there. It's always a really good, solid tournament. It's not it's no Al Smith. It's no you can, but it's I know we used to look into it. It's always a pretty good tournament for a lot of smaller schools in that area, and good event. Marion County tournament, that's going to be a good one. That's probably one we'll keep a big eye on. Beech Grove, Ben Davis, Brebeuf, Decatur Central, Franklin Central, Indianapolis Lutheran, Lawrence Central, Lawrence North, North Central, Perry, Pike, Roncalli, Southport, Speedway, and Warren Central. So that's going to be, you got Warren, Perry, and Roncalli there. That's going to be...
and Hayden Flipovich, man. I want to see Hayden Flipovich get some good matches.
Yeah, that's going to be a real good, especially someone like Flipovich. Had a pretty good. I remember seeing him on the state championship football broadcast. It's like, hey, I know that name. So that should be a good one there. Let's see. Oh, Avon's going back to the John B. where they won like 13 championships themselves last year. I think they lost like 2 matches.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Not a bad day for the Orioles.
Yeah.
That was a big one last week with Brownsburg and Avon, right?
Oh yeah.
Or
Or
that-
not? Yeah, Brownsburg, Avon, and then Avon went and saw Mater Dei, I believe.
Man,
That's a
Mater
rough-
Dei put in work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, oh yeah. You were saying something about Mater Dei seeing other teams. That the one team they smoked like 80, 77, 82. I don't know. They beat them. They shut them out. They ranked 3rd in Kentucky.
Yeah.
That's
Dude,
ugly. That's just. I mean,
they're so good. Like this was like the first time you're starting to see like their lineup filled, and you're just like, oh, okay, where are the holes at?
yeah.
We're talking about all the teams up north. We're talking about Brownsburg, Crown Point. I mean, Mater Dei is right there, like top to bottom, just stacked.
Yeah, they actually crept into the national rankings with Intermat this week. So, and I mean, obviously Crown Point beat a couple ranked teams, so they might be in there too.
Yeah,
I would
Cal-
I would hate to do national team rankings. That has to be an absolute mind-boggling.
No, man. Someone asked me that before. I feel it's a lot easier. Like you're only talking about like the elite 1%. It's not like the teams that are nationally ranked aren't losing to. What do you think? How many teams do you think there's actually in the national rankings you really got to like worry about? Like 50,
Yeah.
50 teams that are going to be
Well, I
trading
mean,
losses.
I think Intermat ranks like 50. So you got to keep
So what,
track
100?
about 20 more past that, but you got to you got to compare them though. It's like, how do you compare
Joe,
a Crown Point
I'm
team?
taking 340 wrestlers per weight class.
At least they have
Cutting
common
down to
opponents.
16.
They have at least common opponents there that you can kind of judge them on. And I mean, how are you going to compare Crown Point or Portage or Brownsburg or whatever to a team out in Missouri, or a team out in California?
Common opponents.
Common opponents.
California's going to be a little tougher, Joe.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
How many nationally ranked wrestlers are out there? You got St. John Bosco and then who?
I don't know. I don't do that. That's why I don't do those rankings. That's why I got out of the ranking business.
No, I think it'll be good. Mater Dei is really good, man. Just look at I thought Castle would give them a run. Just because Castle has some really good individuals, and I mean, in between those spots, I didn't know, but they beat them like something like 60-something to 3, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they smashed them, which was, I mean, and Castle's always pretty well coached. And Castle's the type of team that's gonna pull a couple upsets here and there in big matches like that, and they didn't, which is very surprising.
And the one they won, and the one that is Robert Dieters, who's really good, and he beat Gabe Sollers 2-1. It was almost a shutout.
Yeah,
I'd be willing to bet Bob Harmon hasn't been shut out a lot in his career.
I'd probably, yeah, I'm sure you can probably count on 1 or 2 fingers. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be the Knights after they got shut out either.
No. And I was like thinking, like, man, maybe Watkins could sneak Castle up to the Tricop because he put out this like cool map with all the schools, and I'm like, not so much Fort Wayne, not so much Evansville. Let's get 2 teams to come from there. And I was like, maybe they get Castle, but man, like Mater Dei's that's out there wrecking shop right now, quietly though. They're not really
Yes.
posting results, but quietly.
We're watching though. We are watching. Any other comments on this week's action that's coming up?
I'm excited. I'm excited to see. Like this is now we're starting to get into it. Just kind of go back to Portage for a second. So they go Crown Point, Chesterton, 2 of the best teams in the DAC. Then they wrestle the Harvest, which is a pretty solid individual tournament. I mean, it was down this year, but it's usually really good. Then you go to Trikov, have a good showing. Then you go to Washington to wrestle Christian Brothers at Washington, not Chicago, Washington, which is kind of hood, but like Washington where Jake Warner's from, that wrestles for Iowa.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go to Mater Dei. Like, cool, man.
Yeah.
You're going to have some guys that are going to get really, really tough, or guys that are not really going to like wrestling.
Yeah. They definitely are going for the toughest schedule. And they weren't kind of projected to make the top 4 bracket for Trikov, so they'd have a little bit easier day, but they end up making the top 4. So then they hit Franklin, then they hit Cathedral, and who was the other team?
Westfield, right?
Westfield. So they hit those teams right away. Um, there we go. Let's bring up the all decade voting. This was a very interesting one
Yeah.
because we
It's a
had
good one.
35, 38, and 40, kind of all combined. Last four were 2011 Jason Surtsis, which would have been sophomore or junior year. Jason Surtsis, and then Brayton Lee, 2016, which would have been his junior year there. Surtsis had 50.8%, Brayton Lee 41.9%. So, and then Tommy Cash and Tommy Forte were both in the Final Four, but it was basically Surtsis versus Brayton Lee. So that was
Yeah.
definitely one
Not
of those. That weight was pretty loaded,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Not a bad vote in there.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it had been Cash's 2014, which I think was his senior year.
Yeah.
And then
That's when he beat Jolie.
yeah. So no, it's they both didn't get much love there on that final vote, but they end up making the finals. So that's a pretty good vote there. Looking forward this week as I bring it up because I'm very ill prepared today.
Did you watch? I know you did, but people should go watch the Flow interview with Brayton Lee. If you're not a Brayton Lee fan, watch that and then tell me you're not a Brayton Lee fan.
Yeah. Ooh.
Like, you should already be a Brayton Lee fan because he represents Indiana. He's a great kid. But watching that interview from when he won Vegas over Sammy Sasso again,
Yes. Yeah, that was
a
great.
great match.
Yeah.
That's just a guy that's in your face. That I think God just gave him better lungs than everybody else.
Yes. This week is going to be fun. There's a little bit of family love here. You got Joe Lee and Matt Lee.
Nice.
Jason Surtsis, 2012, which I believe is his senior year, correct?
Yep.
That's the year after he was done. He beat an NCAA champion in freestyle.
Yeah.
Just
No. Don't just say an NCAA champion. That sounds cool. He beat Darian Caldwell, who had just beat Brett Metcalf. Watch
Yes.
Darian Caldwell celebrate after he beats Brett Metcalf, tries to push him off the platform.
that was fun. I was there. Got Jacob Kuvac, junior year. Eric Roach. I'm gonna assume that's his senior year. I think. Junior and senior
You
year.
have two Eric Roach. You have junior and senior year Eric Roach.
Yes. You got Cody LeCount, senior year, where he beat Tommy Forte in the finals. Brayton Lee, that's Brayton Lee junior year. So we had Brayton Lee sophomore year. Neil Malloy was a two-time champ. That's his senior year. Some Jordan Slivka guy. I don't know.
How awesome was that Neil Malloy and Eli Walker match?
Oh,
Eli,
yes.
It was like 2 seconds left. He almost got that takedown. That was great.
Yes, that was great. It was definitely well after the buzzer, but it was very heart-wrenching for a minute there because there's obviously no replay, and then we had to wait for the refs to kind of converge, and luckily the assistant ref was right there on the call there too. So that's going to be fun this weekend. I'm hoping the Lee brothers get a little feisty with each other on Twitter. I'm sure they will because they're not really much social media. It would be kind of fun. Hopefully Eric Roach does well against himself. That should be some good
You're
ones.
going to have a little crown point on crown point. You're going to have Roach and Surtsis.
Yeah, you got two Roaches and the Surtsis. Yeah, there's a lot of crown points there. That sounds like crown points weight.
Maybe Orlando Cruz.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's going to
bracket. That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to this vote. It's going to start getting a little juicier because you're going to have guys that actually have pretty much full resumes when you're kind of talking they won state here. So it's going to be very interesting. Ooh, next week's going to be 152 is going to be interesting also. So definitely look forward to those votes, and we'll talk about them as we go on. Man, we've gone.
So Jason won the last two, or who won the one before with Jason? Jason won 130 and 135? Or 130, 132, 138?
I would have to go check, and I have lots of tweets since then, so I'll have to double check. That one I am not going to try to.
You don't just have that on hand? That's disappointing.
Yeah.
I think he did, right?
Let's see if I can pull that up in a search, because that's not easy. Hey, we can. Cersus won. Brayton Lee won. Oh, no. That would have been... We need 130 and 32. Let's see. All decade.
Beautiful live Indiana Matt Gorilla Radio.
Yes. Voting. Let's see. I'll have to pull that up later. I cannot find the 130, 132 voting. Let's see. All decade voting. Let's just go all decade. I can't get that. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, Cersus won last week.
So Cersus going for the 3-peat.
Yep, he's going for the 3-peat. So yeah, he didn't win. Did he? No, that's.
No, he couldn't do 126. I asked. Remember? It like fell right outside the decade.
Oh yep, yeah. So he can only get 3. So I feel so horrible for him.
Yeah.
You know,
he's pretty good.
It's the Jason Cersus Chad Red team so far.
Yeah. Jason Cersus and Chad Red. So now we get through these, after 45, it can't be Jason Cersus or Chad Red anymore.
Yes.
And then it's going to get interesting.
Yeah. So, any other comments? Any other soapbox we want to get on tonight? He's looking. Any other?
There's some stuff. No, not really. I think we got it out. Let's save some stuff.
Yeah, should be another great week of wrestling. Next Sunday we'll be on. After that, I mean, that's preview of Al Smith, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna Al Smith in 2 weeks, and then Team State. Yeah, this season's kind of just here, and it's going fast already. I mean,
at the end of like 2 days of Al Smith, my voice was really shot. I was like shocked.
Well, hey, you don't have to say Fort Wayne Carroll anymore. You're going to save at least 2 words every time you're calling a Carroll kid.
I know. I had to throw that in there, though. There's a couple of times I had to throw a Fort Wayne Carroll in there for the fans.
For the fans, yes. Just to see if you can get a glare out of me. I'm going to start throwing things at you.
Yeah, that's it's snowing out. I think my favorite time was when you gave me the glare. After I said Fort Wayne Carroll, and you shot a glare over, I said, Just Carroll.
Just Carroll. Yes. So, with that, I guess we're going to sign off. We will be. Make sure you guys listen to. We've been uploading the High School Wrestling Weekly with Dane and Rex Brewer. Check out that. Usually that's up Wednesday-ish. So check that out. Great. I mean, check out your local podcasting app, and you can listen to that. It's always good stuff. They talk about statewide stuff and local, but it's always
if
good.
you didn't know that existed, you're not in the minority. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I had to download the Indiana Matt podcast.
Yep, you can.
But Dane and Rex do a good job.
You can subscribe on iTunes or on Google Play, and that's also on Spotify and a couple other places. So just look for Indiana Matt podcast, and you can find it. So with that, we're going to let you guys.
I don't know why you would want to just listen and not see this beautiful face and
sometimes
Jake.
Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta give a shout out to my nephew. Man, he wrestled his first tournament today.
Nice.
Yep,
Nice.
Took second at the Maryville Rookie Rumble. Reese Reiser.
So do we need to make a profile for him?
Yep, I already got one started.
Significant wins.
Yep. Well, he didn't have any significant wins. He just had the notable loss.
Uh-oh.
So I'm not the guy that doesn't just done that. Took second.
Nice.
Not the guy that's gonna say, "Well, I beat 7 of these guys," but yeah, 12 losses. Yeah, but he was sick. He ate a lot of chocolate before the finals.
Yes. He got into the Twix candy bars before the finals.
No, it was his first one. He's been going, and I was happy. I wanted to get over there, but I thought they started at 11, like regular wrestling tournaments do. I started like 8. He was done by like 11.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, we had a middle school thing at Carroll today, and I stopped over, and it was like 11 o'clock, and parents were like, "Man, usually it's 12, 3, 4 o'clock before we're getting out. We're getting out here so early. I can't even start drinking yet." I'm like, "Oh, there's no such thing."
Yeah.
So,
Your middle school parents don't drink at meets. That's surprising.
that's the only reason some of them go, I think. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, now I can still get, I still catch brunch. So usually I'm trying to, barely catch dinner, after matches.
Oh, you're
So
here for the party, man.
yeah. So with that, we're gonna sign off for tonight, and we will be back next Sunday at our same bat station, same bat channel, whatever. I don't even know what that saying is. I can't do that.
I think you're spot on, man.
I'm not here for sayings, so we will see everyone next week, and make sure you guys all put in your results and everything to make my life easier.
Thank you for the messages.